I never imagined I would be 68 years old, still searching for a way to earn an income. Like many people my age, I believed hard work would be enough. I spent more than 30 years of my life teaching, working early mornings, late nights, weekends, marking papers, missing family moments because I thought I was building a secure future. But retirement arrived, and so did the reality. Food still had to be bought. Utility bills still had to be paid. Medical expenses didn't stop. I remember asking myself, did I work all those years only to worry about money now? Then something changed. I realized I didn't need to go backward. I needed to learn a new skill that today's economy rewards.
Unfortunately, this is going to be a sad reality that, a lot of elderly come to the conclusion of, right? Listen, I'm going to tell you this story. I watched my grandmother, work into, she had cancer, work all the way up into her dying day. I watched her retire and then had to go back into work, for a variety of different reasons. Listen, everything that they told you is a complete jack lie. And here's the honest to God truth. If you're not making, like currently, right? If you're not making anywhere between $250,000, $300,000, and then on top of that, look, I'll be a little generous and even say maybe $120,000 as a single person, right? And you've made some right investments. If you're not making that, $250,000, $300,000 on up, I'm gonna tell you like this. Be honest with you. It's a very little chance that you're gonna be able to retire. And then with the cost of living continuously going up, inflation, the dollar, not being worth as much as it was the previous year, and then the previous year, and then the previous year. Listen, it's not gonna happen. And even if a company matches with you, listen. If you have an opportunity to collect as much money as you can, cool beans, go ahead and do that. If your company matches, with something like a 401k, sure, go ahead. But the reality is that even if your company matches, right, the company that you work for, even if they match, you may not even have, enough money or be able to put up enough money, to see really, some proper gains. And if you look up the average retirement amount, people are barely retiring with $200,000. Okay, register that in your head. People are barely retiring with $200,000, right? On average, if you're retiring at the retirement age today, on average, you need somewhere around, 3.5 million plus, and then you'll still be living on a probably minimum wage or $20 an hour in comparison to, unless you pick yourself up and move to another country, which a lot of elderly are doing nowadays. But most people are not retiring with $1 million. Most people are not retiring with 2.5. Most people are not retiring with 3 mil. Most people are retiring first and foremost in debt.
This video is sponsored by American Luxury Concierge. If you're planning a trip to the Dominican Republic, don't leave your experience up to chance. At American Luxury Concierge, we help American travelers experience the country with confidence. From airport pickups and private drivers to customized itineraries and concierge services built around you. Visit AmericanLuxuryConcierge.com to book your trip, and we'll see you here in Santo Domingo.
Most people are retiring with credit card debt. Most people are retiring with medical debt. Most people are retiring dead broke, right? So yes, this is the reality. A lot of people have to go back to work, right? I've watched my grandmother, right, up until she had ovarian cancer. I've watched her work into the bone. She was a surgical nurse, so she's seen the best and, you know, worst of life, especially when it came to, you know, seeing people on that operating table, from, you know, gunshot wounds to stabs, car accidents to, you know, somebody else having to have a, you know, a tumor removed. She's seen it all. Guts on the table, right? She's seen all of it. Right. But still, even if she made a lot of money, which she did, she made a lot of money. I've seen some of those pay stubs. Right. She made a lot of money, right? She was in the top 10, top 15%. She made well over six figures. Right. But even when it still came down to it. Right. And, you know, maybe she had some, you know, financial mismanagement. So, listen, I'm not here to, you know, judge or whatever. But up until that, she still did not have enough to retire. Still did it, even with her retirement funds, right? And she did own some real estate. Even with all of that, she still did not have enough funds to retire. So I'm making this video to basically make you aware of that. Listen, it's going to be hard to really say that you can retire realistically. See, here's the train of thought that I have, right? The way that I'm designed, the way that I'm set up, I don't even think that it's going to be a time period that I would want to slow down, right? Ask anybody. As soon as you slow down, things start happening, right? You start having medical emergencies. You start, you know, you fell off the bed, Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall and hit his head, cracked his head open. I've fallen and I can't get up. Like, little strange things start happening when you slow down, right? I'm the type that never want to slow down, right? I'm the type that want to keep, you know, my purpose intact, right? Of course, you naturally slow down, you know, in the midst of, you know, getting older. Of course, that's natural. However, you're still going to have to work. So it's like a double whammy, right? It's like a double whammy. But that's one of the reasons why you need to make smarter decisions early on, right? If you do invest, like for the younger guys, you need to be investing now. You need to be setting aside money now. You need to be starting a business now. Here's the thing, just like this gentleman said, you know, he waited until he was 50s, 60s. Like he's at the end of the tunnel. He's at the end of the line, right? At the end of life expectancy. And here he is, you know, just coming to these realizations that the whole corporate retirement, right? Work a good job and retire. You know, he's just now coming into that realization that it's a lie, right? And many of you are still thinking that, you know, oh, all I got to do is work hard. All I got to do is do this. All I got to do is do that. No, this is not how the system is set up anymore, right? The system is not rewarding hard work. Hard work is a fallacy now, right? The people who make the least amount of money, right, are the hardest working people that you will ever see, right? Those people on top of roofs, right? Those people out there in the hot burning sun picking strawberries, right? The hardest working people are some of the lowest paid individuals, especially now with so much technology available, especially now with so much, you know, like resources available, ChatGPT, Claude, you know, Google, Gemini, X with Grok. There's so many different things available now. It really just doesn't even make any logical sense to put yourself through said situations. Now, of course, I'm a proponent. I'm a large proponent of, you know, just working hard and doing what you got to do, right? Of course, I agree with that, right? However, that is not the only thing, or even the littlest thing that works anymore, right? You're going to get stuck working hard. You're going to get stuck at that job, right? You're going to get stuck under a manager. You're going to get stuck under a supervisor. Then before you know it, you're 25. Before you know it, you're 30. Before you know it, you're 40, right? Now you got kids. Now you got people to take care of. And before you know it, you're 60, looking up, thinking like, damn, where the time go? And this is why I implore people to go ahead and take risks, right? Go ahead and take risks, because at this point, why not? Right? The larger the risk, right? The bigger the reward. I want y'all to remember that. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, right? People get stuck at these jobs because it's safe, right? I've never been the type to want to play it safe. I've never been the type to even play it safe, right? I've never held on to a job more than 2-3 years, right? I've never ever since I came into the workforce, right? I've never held on to a job career for more than 2 or 3 years because it just didn't, it never made sense to me, right? Every time I did jump jobs though, I did make sure that my wage did increase, but it just never made sense to stay for 2 or 3 years. I just never been a person to do it, right? I had to come to the realization that somebody like me, I'm built for risk, right? I'm not built for safety. I'm not built for, comfortability, right? Somebody like me, right? I don't feel alive unless I'm chasing, right? And that's where, me and the job, we can't coexist because the job represents stability, comfortability, stagnation, the same old routine. And that's not who I am, right? I'm actually the opposite. And I'd rather buy my comfort and achieve my comfort on my sad time, right? I'd rather do that on my time. If I want to chill, go to the beach, relax for about 2 weeks, I want to do that on my time, right? Not on a company's time or with a manager's or supervisor's approval. No, Sirski. No. I want to do it on my time. I want to do it my way, right? Why not do it your way? Right? See, this is the thing, right? Everybody always say you got to answer to somebody. Well, that may be true. You got to answer to somebody, whether that be a higher force, God, a supervisor, manager, right? Yourself. You got to answer to somebody, right? But I'd rather answer to everybody outside of that sphere, right? And answer to whoever in my sphere, right? Myself, God, or whoever. Like, I'd rather answer to that. Right? Yes, you're going to have to answer to somebody at the end of the day, whether it's yourself, your vices, your goals, you got to answer to those things. But I'd rather answer to things that I can control, right? I'd rather answer to things that I can write down, right? Not what somebody else is saying, not what somebody else is telling me to do, not what somebody else is outlining for my own life. No, Sirski. No, we can't do that. So yes, a lot of elderly are coming to the realization that retirement is a fallacy, right? And as we continue to dig deeper into a more technology-driven society, more and more people are going to start to realize that. I mean, hell, the new gen they're not lasting in the first place, right? The new generation, they're not holding on. You thought I'm something. Like, I don't hold on to anything past 2-3 years. They're not holding on to a job past 6 months. Right? Hell, many of them, they walk right in the door and walk right back out. As soon as they walk right in the door like, nah, I can't do this. Right? They right back out the door. Right? So new gen, they're not even holding on to jobs. But at the same time, the new generation is trying to find what the way is, because they do understand. A lot of them do understand that the old way, it just doesn't work. Right? It just doesn't work. But at the end of the day, this is what I want y'all to understand and know, right? You're going to have to work regardless, right? Some longer than others, some shorter than others, but you're going to have to put in some kind of work, right? And it's best if you put in that work early, because like I said, you're going to be 68. You're going to be 68 years old. And guess what? That's it. You're at the end of the road. You're at the end of the tunnel, just now realizing that you can't retire. Right? Just now realizing that you don't have enough money to retire. So it's best if you take all the risks that you can, right? While you're young, while you still can, while you got energy, while you got momentum. Because before you know it, life is over in a snap of a finger, right? And we're going to have, in America, we're going to have a lot of elderly, who are homeless. This is going to happen. We're going to have a lot of elderly who are homeless. We're going to have a lot of elderly can't afford this. We're going to have a lot of elderly getting evicted. A lot of elderly foreclosed. We're going to have a lot of that, right? Because simply put, the society that we're moving into is just cannot hold on to the past society that we previously existed in. And this is a brand new world, which I keep telling y'all, right? With the brand new world, you have to implement brand new ideas. With a brand new world, you have to come into it with a brand new way of doing things, right? And people are still stuck in that old headspace. They're still stuck in an old way of doing things, right? Y'all got to do things a little bit different, right? It's going to take y'all to do something different to really get ahead, to push yourselves ahead, right? Or you're going to be 68 years old, right? Talking about you can't retire. Come on now. Get it together. And that's an after pill. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Listen, if you want some of my advice, if you want some of my wisdom, my knowledge, hit that link in the description, book a coaching call with me, and I'll show you the exact way and the exact route that you need to take for yourself and maybe your family if you also have it. And also, if you've been thinking about relocating, there's an app for that. HorizonAtlas.ai. If you've been thinking about relocating to a different country, you want to know more about visas and residencies, or if a country is safe, or if they have proper schooling for your children, Horizon Atlas is the app for you. Hit that link in the description. Go ahead and check out the app. Go ahead and sign up so we can get you relocated and get you to the knowledge and wisdom and information that you need to do so. And that's all I have for you guys today. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.
Welcome to the afterpill.co, your one-stop shop hub for everything that I offer. Whether you're here to book a one-on-one coaching call, join the Patreon community, explore Horizon Atlas, your relocation app, or access my latest content and resources, you'll find it all right here. Choose your path, take action, and start building the life you want.